Dear God, if he has the fangs in? No, I don't. However, you want to know something crazy? I've had the fangs on my desk since the first fang stream, which I think was March. So I've had these things on my desk for 6 months, waiting to bust them out. So just you wait. It's gonna happen. This is the haunting month after all, It's only a matter of time. Pop them in. Nah, you guys you haven't earned it yet. All right, you'll get a that shit has bacteria. Oh shit, you're right. I gotta wash them. That's why I shouldn't pop them in. All right. Anyway, it's Dave time. It's Dave time, everyone. People were asking if this is a return to the Age of Dragons in our AI dungeon canon universe. Not this time. This time we're doing a solo adventure with Dave. I have no idea what we're gonna do, but I've missed playing with my boy, so we're gonna hop back in and see what mischief we can get up to. So without further ado, let me ring a ding ding, and we'll see if he's gonna pick up. Maybe do some horror stuff. Maybe there's a few different things we could do. Hello.
Greetings. You entered my dungeon, or should I say my AI dungeon. It is I, the Dungeon Master.
Dungeon Master, please. Please have mercy.
Give me a roll for persuasion, and we shall see.
Okay. God, I have so much dice in my room, but they're all out of arm. I'm gonna make the sound of a dice rolling.
Oh, that was some kind of roll.
What does that mean? Did I stab you?
No, it's like I don't know. Have you ever heard like you could just do a that was a like I rolled the dice and they broke someone's car window kind of roll.
Oh my god. I don't know what we're talking about.
I just thought the dice roll effect was it was not what I was expecting from a dice roll is all.
I should have just gone and grabbed a dice. I really got it.
No.
I got to commit to the bits like you, dude. I've never shattered
don't
real
like,
glass over my desk.
I knew it.
I've never committed to making a full feature-length movie about a bit that was mentioned in a fucking Sonic stream.
That movie is so much harder to do than I thought it was.
It turned out that making movies is hard. Wow.
You telling me that you thought only the trailer was going to come out made me double down and be like, no, the full thing.
I shouldn't have done that.
A feature length is an hour and a half. It's not that bad.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Well,
it's pretty bad.
For a feature length, it's not just the length. You have to have some form of continuity. There's got to be a plot, It can't just be like an hour and a half.
No. It's called a feature length movie, not a feature type movie.
A feature length movie, as in it's just purely the length of a feature. Okay, I understand.
Yes.
It shares no other similarities with an actual feature film.
Nothing else, only feature length.
Well, I've been excited. This is I think quickly become one of my favorite pieces of content to stream. After our first session, I did a couple others with some it was like Strippin and Joe, and we made a canon universe that is now known as the Age of Dragons. We had a whole adventure, and it ended, and then the AI was like, "You have entered the Age of Dragons." So we swore to return to it after we have had time to write what the Age of Dragons actually is. So
yeah,
I think this will be a side tangent, either set in the same universe if we want to, or it's completely own thing. But I wanted to check with you, and we can figure out.
That's funny. I was doing pitches with some friends on writing for shows, and the Age of Dragons is very similar to something we came up with. Which was like Game of Thrones-esque, not serious at all, very goofy. But the Age of Dragons sounds like it would be a good name for it.
Yeah,
it's just
the crazy thing is our adventure did not include a single dragon in it until literally So the way it happened was we had this whole adventure that was several hours long, and it was very, the continuity was solid, like everything was going great. We had found an emperor in like a vault, and he's like, I need bodyguards to take me to the capital, and we're like, all right, we'll do it. We travel all the way to the capital, nothing bad happens. Right before we get to the capital, it seems like, it's a shut and close case, and then Joe looks up and sees the dragon about to attack the town. Like, he literally just makes it up. And the AI is like, okay, and then runs with it. And then not only has the dragons kill the entire nation, but they,
Fatalis. Oh my
yeah,
god.
our heroes like sacrifice their lives to usher in a new age, the age of dragons. So like, it literally had no consequence. Like, it just became the new plot because Joe just made an offhand comment about seeing a dragon. So
Yeah.
it's crazy how this tool works. And after having done a couple now, I think I have a much better idea of how to corral it a bit better. Um, so I am very eager to start a new one with you.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm glad AI done people like AI Dungeon as much as I do.
yeah, man, I think I found it through you. I think you were the first one
From
that
the
streamed it.
Blade Runner stream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, you were doing a Blade Runner stream.
That is one of my I think I peaked so early with my AI Dungeon ness. That Blade Runner stream was so good.
So there's a lot that I'm tempted to try. I've been mainly just doing fantasy. We did one apocalypse one. That was,
I think we should try like sci-fi stuff. It's so
yeah, you want
good.
to do cyberpunk? There's also horror. It is horror month, so horror would be fun at some point. Um,
Horror month.
there's also
No.
a featured scenario for the Infinite
Oh.
IKEA, which is an SCP.
Ah, yes.
Do you know? Are you familiar with this?
No, no, I'm not. I've just heard that it's an IKEA that goes on forever, and it's an SCP.
Yeah,
Like,
the concept is there is an IKEA out there that if you enter, you basically are in an infinitely expanding pocket dimension IKEA that like has its own like societies of people that have been trapped here, that every night the attendants become hostile under like these kind of like mannequin-esque creatures that hunt you down, and every day they're perfectly passive and asking if you're having a nice stay at IKEA. um, and there's like entire civilizations that have been built out of the furniture around
dude,
IKEA.
I wanna go to war in there, like start a civil war.
Yeah, that's totally
And
possible. You can like pick out, because like people make the story of the IKEA one has people like making civilizations and naming them after the signs in IKEA. So like you may be from bed and bath, and like the bed and bath community like goes to war with the cafeteria community, and like it's all relative to the
welcome to the village of Duskion.
yeah.
We love tables.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I'm down to try that if you want to. We could also wait, let me see if I can find an SCP lore video on this IKEA before we play it.
Now, Criken, I, you- I we have a bad record of watching videos here on.
What is oh, you're talking half an A press. You're bringing this up.
No, I'm not. I
Yeah,
was
you
thinking
are.
of
Yeah, you are.
no, I was thinking of life grips. Life grips.
Life grips.
Yeah.
What the hell's life grips?
It's not worth our time is what it is.
This isn't even. I wasn't even a part of this thing. What are you bringing?
No, I know, I know. I was just trying to think of any video that I've seen, and that's the only one I could come up with.
Oh my god, Dave, you okay, bud?
No.
Okay. So do you not want
It is
to
known.
look?
No, let's watch it. Let's. Oh, what about we watch one from the SCP guy? Did he do
Yes,
one
the Volgan.
on
Yeah, he
IKEA? Yeah,
he did do one. The SCP guy, as he is known, my, my
the
the
Volgan.
Volgan.
Sorry,
No.
guys. Please don't send me hate mail for that one.
He occasionally pops into streams. So if he does ever catch this VOD, thank you SCP guy for tuning
I'm
in.
sorry, bro. Don't.
It is a 30-minute video, so it is a little bit of a commitment. But it is a good story, and it would queue up nicely for this in this situation if we want to do it. So it's up to you. We do have the time, but
I'm down to watch it. I'm down to watch a good 30-minute video, as long as I don't have to be quiet the whole time.
Well, it's
like in school.
incredibly disrespectful to talk during the
Oh,
video, but
it sucks too. I'm making a really bad first impression with the
SCP
vulgar.
guy, he told me you can watch my videos on stream as long as nobody talks during it because that. And I said, well, I don't know why anyone would. It's incredibly disrespectful, and I never thought it would be a thing until this. So,
and then he said, just it really hurts me when they do.
all right, how about this? We'll go into it, and I'll make the exception of the rule. We can talk during this, and if you have an idea for a character or a plot we want to run in this Infinite IKEA, I've never tried this scenario, so I don't actually know, how solid it's going to be. But
I'm gonna pull up a notepad and I'm gonna make notes on like character stuff and things I want to put in like into the AI. So like
yeah,
you're in the Infinite IKEA in the village of Nukroch, and here everyone uses a spoon. It's like Spork Town. There's only
Sporktown.
sporks.
Damn. Okay. All right. I'm keeping it on this page, and then I'll invite you in. I hope I can chat. Anyone that plays AI Dungeon, can I invite friends in for scenarios, or are they only single player? I hope so. I'm gonna grab this URL and see. Here, do you want to try clicking on that and see if you can join?
Yep. It seems like I am in. Enter character's name.
Okay, great. Yeah, you are in then. All right, cool. So we won't
How
start it
about-
yet, but
okay.
But we'll watch the video and then we'll go off from that.
My name is Spjork.
We're just gonna be Swedish names too. Oh boy. All right. Can't wait. All right. I'm gonna turn on the video. I'll stream it to you on Discord so around the same time.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP.
Are you trying to talk to Dr. Miller?
I was saying good afternoon. I was being polite.
No, you're right. That is polite.
3008. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures.
Oh.
Euclidean? Is this a Euclidean dude? Hog?
Look.
What about non-Euclid? Yeah?
Dave, you're clearly a novice when it comes to SCP lore. Euclid means it's the object class. It means that it's hostile and dangerous when contained, but it's not, it can be contained basically. Okay?
I'm actually almost like kind of scared that you knew that, and there's a lot more to SCP than I was ready for.
Then you're in for a trip, bro. This is gonna be a lot.
I'm about to get half an A pressed again, huh?
Yes, you are. Also, I saw Lawman's in chat, and he's asking if we need a narrator. It would be this game is a lot of fun if you have multiple people that are like reading different parts. So we may bring him in for the narration. That might be good. But all right, this is study time. We're gonna watch this video first.
The retail park containing SCP-3008 has been purchased by the Foundation and converted into site. All public roads leading to or passing by site have been redirected. The entrance to SCP-3008 is to be monitored at all times.
This guy's mic
no one
sucks.
is to enter.
He just no, don't let him. That was a joke. That was a joke, dude.
I'm gonna tell SCP man about this.
As permitted by a senior
Don't tell
researcher.
SCP guy.
Humans exiting SCP-3008 are to be detained and then debriefed prior to the administration of amnestics. Dependent upon the situation of their stay in SCP-3008, a cover story may need to be generated prior to their release. Any other entities exiting SCP-3008 are to be terminated. Description: SCP-3008 is a large retail unit previously owned by and branded as IKEA, a popular furniture retail chain. A person entering SCP-3008 through the main entrance and then passing out of sight of the doors will find themselves translocated into SCP-3008-1. This displacement will typically go unnoticed, as no change will occur from the perspective of the victim. They will generally not become aware until they try to return to the entrance. SCP-3008-1 is a space resembling the inside of an IKEA furniture store, extending far beyond the limits of what could physically be contained within the dimensions of the retail unit. Current measurements indicate an area of at least 10 kilometers squared, with no visible external terminators detected in any direction. Inconclusive results from the use of laser rangefinders has led to the speculation that the space may be infinite. SCP-3008-1 is inhabited by an unknown number of civilians trapped within prior to containment. Gathered data suggests that they have formed a rudimentary civilization within SCP-3008-1, including the construction of settlements and fortifications for the purpose of defending against SCP-3008-2.
Any questions so far? So it's an IKEA that was discovered, and once discovered, cut off so that it can't be reached anymore by random civilians, outside of testing. And once you enter, it expands into infinity, basically.
Yes. And I'm guessing that 1 is the site itself and 2 is the inhabitants.
Yep.
Not the civilians, but
these things. Yeah,
within.
the things that we're looking at. So
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, the way that the notation works for SCP is the the SCP itself is this, and then within that there are the different classifications of 1 is the actual IKEA. Yeah. It's exactly that, dude. Hey, Stripper, thank you for the raid, buddy. And Harper, thank you for the 2 years. Appreciate that, man. You guys joined just in time. We're doing a little research with Dave. We're gonna do a AI dungeon scenario in Infinite IKEA, which is an SCP that is sets place in an extra dimensional, infinitely expanding IKEA store. And so we just started a little lore video that'll give us context to build the world and our characters. So here we go.
SCP-3008-2 are humanoid entities that exist within SCP-3008-1. While superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated and inconsistent bodily proportions, often described as being too short or too tall. They possess no facial features, and in all observed cases, wear a yellow shirt and blue trousers consistent with the IKEA employee uniform. SCP-3008-1 has a rudimentary day-night cycle, determined by the overhead lighting within the space activating and deactivating at times consistent with the opening and closing times of the original retail store. During the night instances of SCP-3008-2 will become violent towards all other life forms within SCP-3008-1.
How did someone get out to report this? It'll go over that. Violence, it's very cool.
They have been heard to vocalize phrases in English that are typically variations of "the store is now closed, please exit the building." Once day begins, SCP-3008-2 instances immediately become passive and begin moving throughout SCP-3008-1 seemingly at random. They are unresponsive to questioning or other verbal cues in this state, though will react violently if attacked. SCP-3008-1 is known to have 1 or more exits located within, though these exits do not appear to have a fixed position, making it difficult to leave SCP-3008-1 once inside. Using any other door besides the main entrance to enter the structure or breaking through the walls of the retail unit leads into the non-anomalous interior of the original store. Since containment began, 14 individuals have managed to exit SCP-3008.
See?
Following extensive debriefing, all individuals have been administered amnestics and released.
So since they've started, tracking and monitoring this interdimensional store, 14 people have escaped from it. And
but how did they escape again?
Oh, we'll find out. There's a little story attached. Serpent Tucker, holy shit! Thank you for the 10,000 bits, dude. That means a lot.
Huh.
Thank you, man.
Incident 3008-1. At 0:37
Those are some really kind words, dude. Thank you so much.
2000. A human male exited SCP-3008, followed 10 seconds later by an instance of SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 caught and killed the man before itself being terminated by an armed response personnel. This incident represents the only time an instance of SCP-3008-2 has been seen exiting SCP-3008. A full autopsy on the corpse was performed. See 3008-2 autopsy log for more details. The man was carrying an IKEA-branded journal, seeming to document his time in SCP-3008-1. Transcribed below, verbatim.
So basically, one guy managed to get out. As soon as he got out, he was killed by one of these creatures.
Because you stole the journal, idiot.
Yes, clearly. And this is how the foundation, the SCP Foundation, knows all these details about this particular SCP. And this, so the first 5 minutes is the preface, and the rest is basically this journal entry. And it's fucking nuts.
So, I'm writing this to document what I can only assume is my sudden descent into insanity. I can't possibly be that bad a navigator. And yet, as I write this, I've been trapped in IKEA for 2 days. I haven't seen another person in the entire time I've been here. I thought it was a prank at first. Turn the place into a maze, get all the people out, and see how long it takes me to get lost. Then everyone has a good old laugh. Realized that wasn't the case when I tried to backtrack. Everything had changed, so I ended up lost. Instead of the exit, it was just row after row of bookcases. So I'm trapped in an IKEA. Sounds like the setup for a bad joke. The lights went out at 10 p.m., nearly giving me a fucking heart attack. That loud electrical thunk sound, and then pitch blackness. Place is full of beds, though, and my phone has a torch on it. But no
A torch.
signal.
He's British.
So I found a bed and went to sleep. Spent most of the day trying
Why
to
does that
find my
make you
way out
British?
with
We
no
don't call
luck.
it torches.
Did find a restaurant serving those meatballs, though.
What?
At
We
least I
call it
won't starve.
flashlight.
That's probably the punchline to that
Oh
joke.
yeah.
Anyway, they were still warm and fresh, but I haven't seen anyone around who could have cooked them. Made my way back to the beds before the lights cut out again, since it's too dark to search with them
Oh yeah,
off.
there's every morning
It's 9:10 a.m.
fresh
now.
meatballs pop out
Lights
that
came
are
back
hot
on
and
a little
fresh.
while ago.
I love it.
Oh my
Sure,
gosh.
I've searched the entire
Sounds like
area
heaven.
where I came in now, and the exit obviously isn't here. So I'm gonna pick a direction and hope for the best.
Real quick, this actually plays into like a fear I had when I was a kid, because like I used to go to IKEA a lot with my parents, and I would always get lost. I mean, it's like almost a joke at this point, because the way the IKEAs that I would go to were set up, you would head up an escalator, and then there was no way down. There were no escalators down back to the entrance. You have to just
Oh.
go through the entire thing to get out.
I've only ever been to an IKEA one time. And it I don't like it's just on rails. You just keep going
Yeah,
forward
exactly.
and you get to the end.
And
yeah.
eventually you get to the end, but you have to go through every department before you get there.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm like particularly like, interested in this SCP.
Day 3 of my magical IKEA mystery adventure. If I wasn't sure that there was something seriously weird about this place before, I am now. Walked for 3 hours in a more or less straight line. Insert IKEA joke here. Before I came across a ladder next to one of those huge stock shelves they have here.
Oh dude, he was a
Climbed up to get
content
my
creator.
bearings.
Damn.
And it looks like this place just stretches on forever. Like that scene from The Lion King, except instead of trees and grass, it was all shelves and tables and crap. I did see a person moving not too far away though, so I headed over.
Oh boy.
Thought it was a staff member at first. It was wearing a uniform. Hell, maybe it was. Maybe freakish 7-foot-tall monsters with long arms, short legs, and no faces are just the kinds of thing
It's
that they
me.
want working at a super IKEA. Damn thing completely ignored me though. And with no eyes or ears, I can't even be sure it knew I was there. Thought about shoving it or something to get its attention. But its hands were big enough to crush a watermelon, so I decided against it. It just kept moving, and I eventually lost sight of it, so I decided to carry on the way I was going. Anyway, no comfy bed for me tonight. Looks like I've entered the improbably hard and pointy table section of the store. Guess I'll have to make do with some bunched up tablecloths.
Oh yeah, it's
Phone
also.
battery died during the day too.
Oh no.
Didn't work anyway, but I feel like I've just lost some vital lifeline.
What?
His phone battery died, but also it's crazy to me
Ever
that
seen
like
one of those cartoons where they're going.
it's not like an actual IKEA where you can walk 5 minutes and get to a new zone. Because it's infinite, you can like literally hike for a mile and still be on the couches. Like it's just like all.
Is there any part of IKEA where you're like, this is it, the holy grail, like the gun section, you know, like
I don't know about a gun section. I know there's like there's like the bed section, there's the table
but
section.
to defend like the knives, like yes,
Oh
the
yeah, the
knives
kitchen
of
section.
IKEA.
Yes, there's definitely a kitchen section where there's like all knives and shit.
Going through doors in a hallway and they just pop out of another door in the same hallway. That's how I feel right now. I've seen nothing but the same identical bookshelf for 2 days now. Just row after row after row of them.
2 days.
Come on! I love books just as much as the next guy, but this is excessive. I'm obviously still moving forwards, though. I can see the signs hanging overhead passing by. Too bad none of them say exit. Not sure who I was addressing that question to. Let's just say it was practice for the autobiography I'm gonna write when I get out of here.
Dude,
I'll call it
content
my
creator.
perfectly normal trip to a regular old IKEA.
Is there anything about branding?
if I ever get
Dude,
out
that's a
here.
great thumbnail, dude.
Yeah, dude, actually
Finally
it is.
found some other people.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, turns out I'm not the only poor bastard trapped in here. Lucky for me, I guess. My 6th night here, 2 of those staff things came at me in the dark. Different from the first one I saw, but still messed up. Heard them coming. They were saying that the store was closed and I had to leave the building, all nice and polite like. I'm not sure which part of that was weirder, that they didn't have mouths, or that they were apparently trying to kill me while they were saying it. Came at me like rabid dogs. So I legged it, sprinting through IKEA in the dark like a fucking madman.
Oh,
I saw it when I cleared another
Freaking
stand
lag,
in front of
sorry.
those giant stock
freaking
shelves,
madman.
all lit up with torches and floodlights. They've built a whole town here. Got a massive wall built out of shelves and beds and tables and whatever else.
This is the cool part.
I swear to God, it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Anyway, I guess they saw me coming, or they heard my manly bellows of fear, because they had a gate open and 2 people were there waving me in. Heard the staff thing slam into the gate behind me after it closed, still politely informing us that the store was now closed. They wandered off eventually, though. They call the town Exchange, because that's what's on the sign hanging from the ceiling directly above it. Exchange and returns, all lit up against the night, using lights they found and plugged into the power lines. And there are beds, and food, and people. Over 50 wonderful people, with regular-sized limbs and a full set of facial features. It's now my 7th night here, and the first one not spent in darkness. A full week living in IKEA. There's probably a TV show in that somewhere.
He is. I never noticed that. He is totally an
This guy
influencer, dude.
Now that I'm
Never
around other people,
stops.
I'm starting to feel more normal. Maybe normal isn't the word, but after a week with only the sound of my own footsteps for company, I was becoming increasingly sure that I'd just gone nuts. That I was tied up in some padded room somewhere, banging my head against the wall. But no, I feel quite sane now, thank you very much. Apparently there are other towns out there. Some with more people, some with less. I found that fairly mind-boggling. How can that many people go missing with no one noticing? Surely someone would have noticed that everyone who goes to IKEA seems to f***ing vanish. Or maybe it's not everyone. Maybe we're just the lucky ones. The people here just call those staff monster things the staff. Apparently they're fine during the day, minding their own business, walking the aisles. As soon as the lights go out, they go f***ing bonkers. So, during the day, people go out to find food, water, and whatever else they need. Apparently there are restaurants and shops around that get randomly restocked. No one knows how. Maybe the staff do it.
Oh, it's
Apparently they
random.
aren't very good at their jobs,
I
though,
forgot about that.
because the restocking sometimes
RNG.
takes a while, which means the food needs to be rationed. Maybe if they weren't
Imagine
so busy
rationing
chasing
the
people around in the
meatballs and
dark.
like the fucking lingonberries.
Anyway, when night comes, the staff go nuts and everyone holds up inside the walls. Apparently it's the same everywhere in this place, wherever this place is. The Your IKEA, from whence all other IKEAs sprang. Or maybe we're all still just in the regular IKEA and this is all some fever dream brought on by a mind-numbing boredom. Who knows?
Some bad meatballs.
Been here for 10 days now. Most of the people I asked said they stopped keeping track a long time ago. And one guy, Chris, said he'd been here for years. Years. Apparently there are rumors of people who do manage to get out, and people who see the exit only to have it vanish before their very eyes.
Ugh.
I get the feeling not everyone believes that, but I do. Explains how he got stuck in here in the first place. Sort of. And I mean, come on. Staff monsters, row after row of high-quality Swedish furniture. I don't know why they would find a disappearing door so hard to believe in. Anyway, I went out scavenging for food in a nearby shop with Sandra and Jerry today. Once you learn the landmarks of this place, it's not so hard to navigate. The overhead signs help a lot, but there are others. Not too far in the distance, a huge section of those giant stock shelves is collapsed against each other, and way off in the east, we all assume it's east anyway. Apparently IKEA doesn't sell compasses. Some kind of tower that looks like it's made of wood. Reaches all the way up to the ceiling. Maybe they were trying to break out through the roof. It lights up at night, so there must be people there.
That's so cool.
But apparently, it's a few days' walk, which means it must be miles away. So no one here really knows for sure. Apparently, I got incredibly lucky sleeping out in the open for a week without getting ripped to bits by the staff. That's me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. We found some food in the shop. Guess the staff restocked it during the night, which was nice of them. There was a telephone on the wall, so I figured I'd try it out. There was a voice on the other end, but they were just talking nonsense. Random words strung together with no real meaning. You ever see a video of someone
monkey
with
business.
a face?
Monkey Business,
Kinda
come watch
sounds
Monkey
like-
Business movie, day 5005 Monkey Business. Please subscribe.
Sandra says all the phones in here are the same. Oops. Asking the journal questions again.
So do you have
I was
any
thinking
ideas
last
of
night.
like what sort of
The ceiling
character or
on
how
this
you would
place
want to play
is
this?
Pretty high.
Yeah,
As far as anyone
yeah.
can tell, it goes on forever. Shouldn't there be some kind of weather in here? I'm sure I read about some NASA building that was so big it had its own weather patterns, with clouds and stuff. This place is definitely bigger than that, but now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I've never felt so much as a temperature change in here. I'll add it to the grand list of weird bullshit. The staff attacked the exchange last night. Must have been 20 or 30 of them all just asking us to leave the store, calm as you like, while trying to smash the walls down with their bare hands. Apparently this happens pretty regularly, so everyone is prepared for it. Knives from the restaurants, lawnmower blades made into hatchets, a fire axe. One guy, Wasim, even made a functional crossbow. Anyway, the walls have holes in them, which I hadn't noticed before. Specifically so we can stab out at the staff when they attack. Took a couple of them down myself. They don't seem to bleed, which is weird. But they go down as easy as a regular person once you start sticking holes in them. We had to haul the bodies away in the morning. Apparently the dead ones will attract more during the night, so we had to get them away from exchange. We have a couple of those trolley things they use to move big boxes around, so we loaded them up and took them over to pickup. Apparently people just name everything in here after whatever sign is hanging overhead. Pickup was grisly. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of dead staff all piled up. There was no smell, which was a blessing. Apparently, in addition to not bleeding, these things don't rot either. My curiosity got the better of me while we were unloading them, so I took a look at one of the more cut-up ones. They're just skin, or something that looks like skin, all the way through. No muscle, no bone, no organs.
Just skin.
Are they even really alive in the first place? They certainly seem
Staff
like they have bones when they're
meatballs.
moving around.
What about
pounding on the
their
walls.
legs?
And I'm sure I felt more resistance than just skin when the knife went in during the night.
Oh, that's
Maybe
weird.
something happens to them when they die. Just one more thing on the ever-increasing list of weird shit that goes on in here, I guess. Something occurred
IKEA
to me. After the
thralls.
staff attack the other
That's a
night,
good way to put it.
every time you see a situation like this on TV or in a film, like it's the end of the world or everyone is trapped on an island or whatever, once groups like ours start to form, the people always seem to turn on each other, fighting for food or dominance or whatever else. That hasn't happened here. Apparently, people from other towns come by from time to time, just to check in or occasionally trade if they're short on something. But everything is always cordial.
Those
Friendly,
damn
even.
courteous, nice-ass
Maybe it's
Swedes
the
in their
threat of the
IKEA
staff,
towers.
or
Not
perhaps
only
the
Swedish
constant
people shop in
restocking of
IKEA.
supplies in the shops means there's nothing much to fight over. Maybe people are just better than they're generally given credit for. That's a nice thought. I think I'll go with that one. A dozen people showed up at the gates this afternoon from a town called Trolleys.
Trolleys.
Apparently, the staff broke through the walls and tore the town apart during the night. These 12 are the only survivors out of over 100.
Oh.
We let them in, obviously. One more point in the human decency column. Later, I asked if anyone knew how many of these towns were out there. Between us and the new folks, we managed to come up with over 20 names. 20 towns filled with people, and who knows how many beyond that.
It's crazy.
The motto for this place should be, how is that even possible? Surely someone, somewhere, must be looking for the thousands of people that must be in here. I've been here for a little over 2 months now. Not that much changes, as it turns out. A couple of new people showed up. Same story as the rest of us. Nice little trip to IKEA, and suddenly
We got
they're
about
trapped in Billy Bookcase's
10
house
minutes
of
left,
faceless
Dave. Do you want to
weirdos.
finish the video, or?
The staff attack the exchange once or twice a week.
I don't see why not.
We kill them
Unless-
and haul off their bodies.
I just want to make sure. I don't know if you
Sometimes they
were
hurt some of us
pressed for
first.
time.
No, I'm
They
into it.
killed a
Man,
guy
that's cool.
called Jared a couple of weeks back.
Jared!
It was awful.
They killed Jared!
The
Turns out,
completionist.
regular humans still bleed in here, even if the staff don't. We tried our best, but none of us are doctors. Jared was a good guy. He deserved better.
No.
We all do. It occurred to me that a couple of days after that, none of us were really looking for a way out of here. I don't even know where we'd start. One of those quadcopter things with a camera attached buzzed past exchange today. I thought it meant that someone was finally looking for us, that help was on the way. Apparently it's not the first time this happened, though. Same thing happened a few months ago, and everyone is still here. No idea if it saw us. It didn't stop if it did, just kept flying until we could no longer see it.
Real quick, I think those quadcopters are actually from the SCP Foundation, right? Didn't they mention earlier they sent in cameras to like try to map out how big it is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Note: based on recovery time of the
Oh, here we
journal,
go.
this entry appears to line up approximately with our first successful test
I
piloting a
literally
drone
just said that
inside
before.
SCP-3000.
I did not notice.
Analysis of footage shows a walled settlement under a sign labeled Exchange and Returns.
Oh, they found them with
Attempts
the
to
camera.
relocate the settlement failed. Origin of previously sighted drones is unknown.
Oh.
I started talking
Temporal
to people about the
anomaly.
stuff
Yeah.
they missed
Cool.
from home during dinner today. Probably not the best idea I've ever had. Everyone seemed pretty down after. A bunch of people here have families. Husbands and wives, kids, dogs. Franklin apparently has a pet llama, though I'm not sure I buy that. But apparently some of the people here have some
Franklin, you
seriously
bastard.
odd gaps in their knowledge. 3 of them had never heard of the International Space Station. 2 of them seemed to think it was the Prime Minister.
Oh, this is really
And
cool.
one of them had apparently never heard of the Statue of Liberty. I believed them, too. They
He
seemed
is
just as confused
English
as the
because
rest
he
of
mentioned the
us.
Prime Minister.
The more I
Yeah.
thought about it, though, the more it started to explain a few
That
things.
wasn't the interesting part,
What
though.
if the reason no one is looking for
Oh.
all us missing people is because we haven't all come from the same place?
Yeah, it's this part.
This is going to sound weird. Maybe that should be the motto for this place. But what if all the people here have come here from different dimensions, realities, whatever you call it? I've seen enough TV shows to know the drill. Sarah comes from a place where there's no Statue of Liberty. They didn't launch a space station where Wasim is from. If everyone here came from different places, even from ones that seem identical, there'd be no huge missing persons panic, no mass search. We'd just be a blip, a single missing person in a world of non-stop news.
Does that check out
Well,
with
that was a fun
with
train
your
of thought.
degree and all of your expertise?
Oh, yeah, that checks it. Yep.
Just
Uh,
realized
probably
that yesterday
possible.
was the
Look,
6th
check my
anniversary
notes.
of my arrival here.
Oh, I
wonder if
forgot
IKEA
about that
sells
one.
party hats. The routine around here has remained more or less the same. More new folks show up, one every couple weeks or so. Food supplies go up and down, but we've never actually had a major shortage. Occasionally we get a visitor from one of the nearby towns, usually checkouts or aisle 630. We check in with each other from time to time, occasionally trade supplies if someone gets particularly low on something. It's comforting, in a way.
I love the idea of a
Reminder that
trader going
we aren't
between
alone here.
the different communities
Some
in the IKEA.
small glimmer of
Yeah.
civilization. Sometimes they bring medical supplies. Apparently there's a pharmacy a few towns down from checkouts that gets restocked every
Oh,
now and
that's
then,
so cool.
they share out what they can. I've never heard of an IKEA with a pharmacy before, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if someone stumbled on an IKEA organ harvesting lab. Would certainly explain the staff. Speaking of our faceless jailers, their attacks have been getting worse lately. 3 or 4 times a week now, with twice as many staff as there used to be. No idea where they all come from, or why the attacks have increased. We tried following one of them during the day a few weeks ago, me and Sarah. Wanted to see if they led back to a staff room or something. Didn't seem to go anywhere though. Just randomly walked through the aisles. We had to turn back before we found anything. We've been reinforcing the walls, trying to arm ourselves better. Certainly no lack of materials to use. Wasim has been making more crossbows, but it's pretty slow going. Too bad IKEA doesn't sell guns. Never thought I'd say that.
Note: no new personnel have entered SCP-3008 at site in the time span indicated in this entry.
The attacks are getting bad now. Almost every night, and with so many staff that the bodies almost pile high enough for others to climb the walls. I think we're in real trouble here. Exchange is... I think exchange is done.
Not
We got
exchange.
hit pretty bad last night. Not many casualties, but the wall is wrecked. We finally figured out why the attacks have been escalating too. A box of supplies had a chunk of one of the staff in there.
Oh,
No idea how it happened, but apparently a piece of one will draw them, as well as a full body. Too late now.
it was
In any
sabotage,
case,
dude.
there's too many bodies for us to haul away and still have time to fix the wall before midnight. Candace has called a meeting. I suspect there will be talk of abandoning exchange. Maybe try and get shelter at the checkouts or something. It's already getting late, though. I don't think we'll have time to make it. Maybe some of us will. I was fine for that first week out in the dark after all. But then, how often can I keep getting lucky?
He doesn't know.
I'm only writing this for a sense of closure, I guess. For me, or for anyone who
And for
finds
you,
this.
Dave.
If this is
Me?
the final entry here, I hope whoever is reading this is doing so from outside